All right, we're down here in Printers Row. Um, I think that the org opens at 9. I'll check and see if they've got hours on the window. But that kind of means that they would muster, well, I don't, muster might not be the right term. Uh, you'll start seeing people enter the org at this time just so they can start setting up. Hey, Alec, how's it sound? We're on Poke. I think I'll go through the alley. If people start showing up, I kind of want to ask if they would like the morning route, because I can be at the morning at opening time just about every day, and I want to see if there's any interest in people seeing the staffers show up to work. I still have every expectation that nobody lives here. I don't think they're birthing here, which is strange. I also will say that uh, having missed the protest, and I definitely regret that, the number of people that we saw associated with Scientology that weekend, I have to, they were all imported. There's none of those people were Chicago staff members. We didn't see Barbie at all that whole weekend. Um, and there's probably 6 or 8 people that I recognize, and none of them showed up on any of the live feeds. So the live feeds were entirely controlled by the outside world. Morning, Sally. Not the outside world, the imported Scientologists. So we're coming up on the backside, and nothing really going on here. Let's see. They have a plaque there. Not sure if we can read that or not. Oh, we can call the director of public affairs. My expectation is that that will get you nowhere. We've got this camera is going to be the university, not the Scientology. Scientology has the 2 white cameras on the sidewall there. They're both kind of aimed inward. They're on either corner of the building, aimed inward towards where their doorway's at. I think what I'm going to do is I just want to get the muster, so I'm going to be here for probably maybe 35 minutes to an hour. And then I think Natalie, and if Natalie's coming, I'm sure that we'll see Shannon and Trashy and Nance all down here. That'll be this afternoon. So I do want to come back down here and join for that. I want to talk to Natalie. I'm very curious. I just want to have a conversation with her about how this worked. You know, how did you get in? How did you get out? I know she told her story vaguely, and I'm very curious about the appeal that Scientology has for some people. I know she was born in, but I think I'll be back out this afternoon. So to answer that, I'm just here to see if I can catch any staff members entering the building early on, see if anybody wants to talk. Now, we know what the answer to that is. I was very, I don't want to say sad. I had a great time. I was in Tokyo for the marathon and was amongst a lot of friends. But it was, I was a little disappointed that I couldn't be here to help support the protesters. And, Shannon killed it. Loved having Trash out here, Nance. The number of people that showed up, the the way that Scientology riled up the students of uh, Columbia. They're, as Aaron's kind of mentioned a few times, Scientology is its best, worst enemy. They just know how to piss off people. Oh, the far coat there, the red line coat, that's a Scientology. Knocking, can I please come in? I don't know if you guys caught, but Trashy got one of the security guards in the alley and really was just like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to talk? We don't have to talk about Scientology. Even the wanted people are unwanted. Getting ready to cult this morning? Even the cult makes it hard for their culters to come in. Do you feel good about the way that you guys support rapists? How you cover up crimes? Proud of the elderly abuse? Oh, here we go. Oh, getting ready for your morning culting? Let's see, is she going get her morning coffee? Yep. Heading down to the Dunkin'. I've never seen a religion patron so ashamed of their religion. Yeah, and let's make sure we stay off camera. We don't want to get in trouble for that. The first time that I was down here, I want to say that the person that just came by, that was more the age I was seeing, and I was like kind of shocked about how youthful a lot of the staff down here were. Now, still no idea if those staff were imported staff or those were Chicagoans that were doing that work. I was in Japan for maybe 8 or 10 days. It was amazing. It was challenging because Japan is a country where, while there are some people that can speak English as a second language, it's not common. Ready for the morning muster. Time to go culting. Are you comfortable with covering up the crimes? You comfortable supporting the rapists? You feel good about the elderly abuse? It's really tough that your church locks you out. All are welcome. And this is the first time I'm really seeing the Scientology signs. So the challenge there was mostly that in Japan was that it wasn't common for people to be able to speak English. So you were on your Google Translator all the time. I don't know if you all saw, but I did go through Scientology Tokyo as well. Um, uh, Different vibe there, um, that you may or may not see some of the videos. I haven't put some of them up because I need to edit them to keep the faces out of it. But they have a little coffee shop in there, and it was pretty interesting to see the people in the coffee shop. So there was a normalcy to what was going on there. They're very tidy. Well, Japan in general is very tidy, but everybody who walked into the org wiped down their phone, uh, washed their hands pretty vigorously. Um, that was rather interesting, and it definitely is a different culture. Japan in general is a different culture. Um, the people that I saw entering the org in Japan, again, diverse ages, um, young people, old people. There wasn't body routing. They do have signs on the sidewalk, but I didn't see body routing. The day that I left there on a Friday, and I was there between 11 and noon, and didn't see anybody there. Oh, they're trying to get the timing right. I can see somebody starting to open the door here. Um, I couldn't talk to anybody in Tokyo because I definitely wanted to make sure that they have certain privacy laws, and I don't know all of their laws in regards to can I approach people, or are there laws against that. So I was a little bit nervous in that regard. The other one would have been that in that area where they're at in Tokyo, it's not a common place for Westerners to visit, so it would have been very unlikely that there would have been English speakers in that particular area. So no, I wasn't able to speak to anybody, and I really didn't come in contact with any of them. I tried to keep my distance there just so I wouldn't get myself in any trouble. I don't mind getting in trouble in this country, but getting in trouble there, no good. So time for the morning coffee, time for the morning cigarettes. I don't know if in StreamYard, I don't think I can. And looks like we got additional people. So locked out of your own church. That's tough. Getting ready to go support the rapists, child trafficking. Yeah, I guess common courtesy would be not to leave your cigarette on the sidewalk, but you know, different churches have different etiquette. See if I can get a sign of the wall of shame inside the org as well. Oh, they're all congregating for the morning worship. Yep. Smoking is how the Thetans get from one place to another. I realize I've been mocking up my own mind, and I'm not going to do it anymore. They welcome everybody, well, except for their members. I'm not going to mock up my reactive mind anymore. But instead of mocking up my reactive mind, I'm going to figure out how I can protect pedophiles and how I can protect rapists, how I can hide crimes from the civil authorities, how I can abuse the elder. I did hear the one gentleman say that he was with the security force, so our smoker is a security friend. Oh, here we go. Now we're welcome in. Now we're ready to go, Colt. Time to get the Colt on. How do you like your new neighbors?
Oh, they're the worst. I've never seen him growl in person.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes over there for some reason, he just doesn't like the vibe of them.
Not sure if you caught that, but the gentleman said that his dog really kind of loves everybody, but anytime somebody comes out of there, the dog's very suspect. The dog will start growling. I've got to work on this StreamYard, or I think I can go live natively too, but I don't know if I can stream or if I can play with the Zoom well on that. I love this gimbal, and it allows me to Zoom if I do a recording with my thumb pretty easily, but it won't let me Zoom while I'm in chat. Or I should study this more. What time do you have now? It's about just before 9 o'clock. So I'm sure most of the people that are staff are in-house. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Ellie. At some point this afternoon, I'm probably going to go over to the 1st District as well to file a complaint on Commander Harrison. Just because I think the more complaints, the better. And you know, he was absolutely an agent of the church. He's somebody who's lied in the past. One thing, and you'll see Streets talk about this, that if you get caught lying a couple of times as a police officer, you really can't arrest people anymore because your credibility in court, it just goes downhill fast. You know, it's not good if you get caught in lies as a police. You just can't do your job very well. Now he's a commander; he's not doing arrests or foot level elements anymore. But I do want to make sure they do that. I don't know if anybody's really gotten a good shot of this, but there's a wall right inside this door, and it's on the north wall of this, and it's the list of all the donors over there. And I would love to get that list and see if I can figure out a way to email, mail, alert them to say, hey, are you happy with your donations? Love reactive minds. I am not sure about that at all. I don't think they birth on site here, so that almost all the time I see everybody coming in here coming from someplace else. Now, I don't know, the church might, I thought that guy was Scientology. He was dressed and got a tie on a Saturday morning, and that's not typical in this neighborhood. Morning. How's the cold? Yep. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, I wonder if they own a building, like an apartment building or something. But I'll say that the people that come to this building, and also when I would be up at the Lakeview building, uh, they come from all directions. So, again, I don't know if they're staff member where it's their day job and they've got some other way of supporting themselves, or if they're Sea Org in this space. Um, the Sea Org, I kind of got the impression that, yeah, minus your toilet paper and toothpaste, the church paid for everything, right? Your housing, your studies, um, your auditing, and the housing, food. But I don't think that happens here. The other new symbols, these were covered up for the longest time. Zenos, I don't think they live here. I would bet the permit for this building is not residential. I remember one of the college students talking about it, that they were on all the floors and it looked like it was classrooming all the way up on this process. So I don't think that's what they do. And again, as I was saying, I'm not positive it's Sea Org or if it's just staff um, that are here. So the one other thing I'll say, well, you saw it today. The one woman who came out and hid her face, she went to the Domino's to buy a coffee and breakfast. The guy that was smoking, and I want to say he said, "I'm Richard. I'm with security." So I'm guessing that's hired help, which I'm not. I feel like Scientology wants to really trust the people that they're letting inside that building, but he looked more to be hired help. And then everybody always comes here with a cup of coffee in their hand. So, it's the cheapest you get a cup of coffee in Chicago is about $3. And if I only had $47 a week, I don't know that I would be wanting to pay, 1/15 of my pay every time I wanted to get a coffee. It is possible that the college student said 7 floors. And let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 takes you up to the top here. So I just don't know if they're allowed to live here. I'll see if I can pull a permit on it, and if the permit has any more information on this. Okay. So they open at 9:30. Cameras or devices are prohibited and may be used with permission. Church is private property. Refuse the right to remove any person. So we welcome everybody, but we refuse. We reserve the right to refuse entry. So maybe they don't understand what welcome is. Their word clearing is suspect. That's a good point. Yeah, the building probably does. And that one, I think I can find that out because this building's old, and so it'll have pretty good architectural records. This building, 1911, 1915, somewhere in that range, was when this was built. And the history of the art craft is pretty interesting. So this area of the neighborhood is Printers Row. Um, the So the newspapers and the books were all printed in this area, and illustration occurred here um, early on in the history of this building. What do you mean COS doesn't follow the laws? They follow every law that L. Ron Hubbard gave them, which is basically to ignore all WOG law. And I don't mean to use the derogatory term, and it's not as derogatory here in the States. But yeah. Oh. Looks like the doors might be open now, because that person had no problem getting in. The other one I want to do is scour the taste from the weekend to see if we can get images and understand who the big dollar supporters were. And I don't want to say fair game, but as fair game as a policy in this organization, let's help some of their clients understand who they are as a business and who they are as a neighbor. I was mentioning earlier when nobody was on, so probably none of you heard me. I can be here almost every morning beforehand, and not sure if that'd be something of interest. I definitely don't want to do it at the same time Natalie's doing it every day, but just to see who's coming in and out of this building every day on a daily basis. So another one just got in while I wasn't really paying attention. How do you like your new neighbors?
Oh, love them. Moved out in 2 months.
Nice. You get to escape. Hey, buddy. How are you?
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Getting ready to cult? Not sure if you heard the couple that just walked by. You know, I'd asked them how do they like their new neighbors, and you know, negative commentary on the idea. Well, fortunately, we're moving out in 2 months, and then very facetiously, what a great time to be alive. My guess is at some point it would be better to have 2 cameras down here, because I have a feeling that in order to avoid the public presence, they're going to use the alleyway, and you know, with their surveillance, it's probably easy to avoid me, but I will do whatever I can to make sure that I get on face and ask them how well they love the practices of their religious cult. Yeah, somewhere in the, at one point, I don't know if you were here, there were 4 people stacked up trying to get in. You know what? That's interesting. There was a younger guy that had just poked out this door, 5-10 minutes ago. I did not see him go in, So again, could have been through the back, or as we're surmising, maybe they're coming in, or maybe they're birthing here. It's pretty quiet on the street here. Uh, it's nice here in Chicago this morning. We had a kind of mild winter. We had the one really ugly week of minus single and double digit. Um, but it's been generally nice here, weather-wise. It's unseasonably warm. The other one, and I know I know Shannon's been doing a great job of cultivating some people from the college. Uh, we need to keep an eye on when they're loading stuff out of this building and going to the train station and to Grant Park and to some of these other places to do their, whether, I don't know if it's called body routing or selling books at that point in time, and really bother them. I remember that early Pearl Snappy when they came down and asked, are you going to be here all day? And she said, yep, I am going to be here all day. So I want to be somebody who's really making it hard for them to sell people and indoctrinate new people. Like most of the Scientology community, I don't think that we're really going to get the diehards out. It's the idea of let's make sure they have no new fresh meat in this process. I like PTS for life process, right? Let's make friends. I don't know that you can actually get through the logic story, though, right? The idea of, if you could get them to understand how bad the actions of this church are by walking them down the road of, hey, are you okay with this? Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? And finally getting to a point where, well, the next answer has to be no. I don't think you can walk them down a logic path of that nature. Morning, Bull. Oh, this is odd. So, bring your child to the cult day. Nice. That's the scariest thing I've seen today. What a tragedy that is. And I'm going to go with their casual dress. They're more likely staff or public, but those are young kids. I would guess teenagers. Have a good day at the cult. I've said this before, and I've heard others say it. At the entry level of any church, and I belong to a what would be considered a mainstream church, it is propaganda. It is we do good, we do well, we're a service to the community. And as a young, idealistic person, it's a great idea that you would want to be a part of something like that. And then you get 1 foot in and 2 feet in and a little bit further into that process. And it just gets to the point where in business, we would call it the fallacy of the sunk cost, right? I've already spent so much of my life here. I might as well stay here. Or you get enveloped in that bubble and you don't really recognize the negativity of that process. So it's understandable how somebody can get pulled into this kind of church. And I was, again, in a mainstream church. I always felt good about what we were doing there. And then I went to theology school, got my degree, and I worked for the church for about 2 weeks. And it was a place where a lot of money comes into a church. I understand the L. Ron Hubbard's saying of, if you want to get rich, create a church. If you can find somebody who feels good about the philosophy or the meaning, they're always willing to donate to the church. And again, I'm not saying the church is a bad place. I'm saying that the church knows how to get, and here I'm saying church in general. The church in general knows how to get their hand on your money. And I was in at a time before the mega churches, the Olsteins, and so on and so forth. Good morning, quiz. All right. I think that most of the staff is loaded in. It's 9:20, 9:18, 9:20 here. I think I'm going to pack up. I do plan on coming out this afternoon and catching up with Natalie. Her and my Tony are in town. It was fun watching them travel. They were traveling by car at the same time I was traveling by plane. So, all right. I appreciate everybody being on today. Thanks for joining me on the chat. I'm going to keep on trying to do these lives. I haven't found what my modus operandi is yet, but we'll figure that out. If you can, try to comment on the YouTube itself. I have the understanding that part of the algorithm is if you have engagement there, it's helpful. And I just want to see. I just want to be one of the people that's spreading the word. So I'll go through the alley real quick. You know what? Let me. I'll go up to the top of the street. I did come to a quiz on the way here. I did go through the alley. Oh. There's another member leaving or exiting. So the car here parked here, and this is another one where in Illinois they've got an FP plate, which is fire protection. We support fire protection, and I saw several Scientologists in the alley with that same. It's a high price license, so, or it's an additional price license in Illinois. And just a reminder to everybody, I'm a never end. I just want to stand up for the Surges, the Lauras, the Miriams. I'll even let I'll give Mike Rinder the slide on the idea that, hey, he was in a cult and type thing, but now that he's out, I don't think he gets to pass anymore. He has to regain his trust as a valuable member of society and not somebody who's covering this up. But these are just tragic stories, and we hear about this out of Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness as well. I don't know that they're to the same degree. Like, Scientology is overtly into imprisoning is the wrong term, but controlling the lives of their members. There are other high control groups, the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses. They keep their control through shame in that space. Here, I think the control is a little bit more physical. Like, you live here, not in the Chicago area as much as we heard in. Morning, Nance. Great job this weekend, you and Shannon. Nope, we got somebody out here. Anyhow, the stories of people being locked up. If you haven't, Tori Magoo is doing a series right now. She just did, I think it was 5 parts of how she escaped the church, and she was a high up as well. I think that I don't know that she was OSA. I can't remember quite directly there, but she was a high up. I remember the story of her getting followed to the airport. I love the idea that there was a VP. I don't know if they actually had VPs in Scientology, but an executive that was following her through the airport to try to convince her not to leave. And Tori had said, well, my suitcases were heavy, so I just had the VP carry my suitcases because they would do anything to prevent you from leaving. And I just loved that she just didn't care. I love her spunk. And it's these people who had just traumatized lives that I want to stand up and say, hey, we shouldn't allow for this to happen anymore, right? And this isn't the only church, this isn't the only organization that does these kind of criminal things. But it absolutely is an organization that does these kind of criminal things. Yeah, and if you go back to the, I think early in the video I came down the alley the other direction. There's a sign here as well, and it's saying that you can call, there's a 773 number, which is a local Chicago number, a 773 number of the public affairs. So if you go back in the video, you'll be able to see that. Nance, are you coming out? I'm going to come out this afternoon. I am wiped out from all the travel. From Japan to here, it's funny. You'll leave Japan at 4 o'clock, and you land the same day at 2 o'clock. So it's a lengthy bit of travel. Yeah, Quiz, I think the same thing. I think that maybe I give them too much credit for wising up, but they're incredibly intelligent in some ways and incredibly ignorant in other ways. If we're out in front, I don't know why they're not using the alley. But then if we come back to the alley, they'll go out in front. Part of that might be that I don't know that they have a broadcast communication or a text group per se for all the members. Excellent, Nancy. I will definitely see you out here. I need to go home for a nap. Got up early today to the puppy licking my face and saying it's time for me to go for a walk. So I got up for a walk. If you didn't catch it earlier today, I was up in Lakeview. I showed their yard sale in the front windows. They're selling you yeah, guessing that's the right staff organization outfit. They have a 1980s scanner. They've got a little calculator, a 10-key calculator up there. What else? Oh, I looked in the front door, and it's just garbage bags strewn everywhere. I definitely think they're out. Like that's closed down 100%. Couldn't tell if there was still residents upstairs. They very quickly got everything out. There was a bunch of furniture in the front window. It did not look like furniture that was bought last week. So I guess in some ways they're very good stewards of money, or the fact that they had no money and they had to buy the cheapest things possible and make them last as long as possible. Yeah, this morning, the taller, thin gentleman that was walking up the street, he 100% saw the camera and tried to walk past the org. He checked the door real quick to see if he could slide in. It was still locked, so we walked on a little bit and then came back to it. So we also saw what appeared to be, or the person said, their name was Richard, and they're part of the security team. And like I said, I feel like that's a hired help person that came in here. Oh, might have some extra cult members coming up now. No. It's tough as if you make the guess, you feel foolish that is it one of the buffoons going into the church Scientology, or was it one of the young kids getting an education at Columbia College? All right, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to go get some rest, and I'm going to come back out here and hang with Nance. Maybe Shannon will be out. I know that she's a little bit tired. Yeah, the weekend put a lot of stress on her. I think Free Xenu Project is in town this weekend. I'm sure Trash will be out here at some point, and we'll go from there. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. Hopefully this is something that's helpful or enjoyable for you guys all to watch, and hopefully we're just sharing the word of how terrible this organization is. Bye-bye all.